Joining me now is Shishir Mehrotra, co-founder and CEO of Coda. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
So tell us more about Coda and how it stands out from other productivity suites like Google Workplace and Microsoft 365.
Yeah, your introduction was great. It's an all-in-one document. It blends the best parts of document spreadsheets, presentations, and applications into a new surface. I think what our deepest users will often say is that it allows anyone to make docs as powerful as apps. And really comes out of the idea that the documents that we use haven't fundamentally changed in over 40 years. And we took a fresh look, started from scratch, new blinking cursor. It spread really fast. People use it for everything from simple meeting notes to running entire companies. More than 25,000 teams now use Coda, including teams at Uber, Figma, Masterclass, Robinhood, Coinbase, Square, and thousands of others all over the world.
Yeah, and I've used this before, so I know a little bit about it. It's almost like Google Docs meets kind of like an Apple UI with a little bit of drag and drop, Photoshop kind of feel to it. So I enjoy it. I think it's very easy to use. There's something that I wanted to ask you about. I know you have something with this Dory and Pulse approach where if there's a meeting, and if you're watching, I'm explaining this to you. If there's a presentation and you have a question, you can ask a question, and then everyone in that meeting can upvote that question. So it gets to the top, and that question is the most popular, so it's asked and it's answered, right? So what was the mindset behind that?
What a fun example. It's one of my favorite rituals. Dory and Pulse. It's actually a pair of two rituals. The one you're describing there is called Dory. It's named after the fish from Finding Nemo who asked all the questions.
Yeah.
And it was originally designed around having distributed teams. And when we're on Zoom or in these virtual meetings, it's often hard to get a word in edgewise. And so it works the way you described. You add your questions, you upvote and downvote them. The real reason it works so well is it levels the playing field of your meeting and democratizes it. And so I'm sure you've been in meetings where it's dominated by one person, maybe the loudest person or person that is in charge. And this just sort of ranks everything together. The other half of it is called Pulse.
Yeah.
And Pulse is you come in and we have a question. We say, should we do this financing or should we launch this feature? And then everybody writes down their answer, but they do it privately. And then you check a box and you see everybody else's. And similarly, this is about removing groupthink that, I'm sure, again, you've been in meetings where you ask a question and somebody says, the first person says yes, second person says yes, and now the third person has no choice but to also say yes. And so these two kind of pair together. One of my favorite rituals of how we run Coda, and something many of our customers have adopted as well.
Yeah, it's like an anonymous suggestion box for that project. Now, those are two big features. What are some other features that are helping remote workers be more productive?
Yeah, I mean, I think those types of rituals are really being crafted by companies all over the world. I mean, people take their values and behaviors and they turn them into these productive ways of working. For example, the team at Figma changed how they run their launch review process to incorporate this a way to ask questions, a way to like other launches and just sort of involve people more in that process. Or we've seen teams at companies like Square use Coda to just simplify something like one-on-ones with their manager and make that a lot more structured and productive as well. One of my favorite examples, a company called Squared Away, they wrote about this recently. They ended up replacing every piece of software they used with Coda, and they said it saved them over $100,000 a year in being able to replace everything into a single tool.
Well, speaking of replacing, how is Coda using automation to improve the user experience as well?
Yeah, so you can do things in Coda that are as simple as taking notes in meetings, but you can also use these advanced building blocks that can take a lot more powerful behaviors off of your plate. Automations in particular are a tool where you write these rules. They're basically, if this is true, then do this. And so, when, for example, there's a new ticket or a new item in a table, you can go and send that out to a group, like sending an agenda to a group through Slack every Monday. One we use that's kind of fun in the office is a little reminder that gets texted out to people to water the office plants. The basic idea is that we can connect up all the different tools you use into a single canvas, and then you can really codify those rituals into and put them on autopilot.
Yeah, and Coda raised 100 million in a Series D. Where are you going to put all that money? Well, what are you doing with it?
Yeah, so we raised $100 million from Ontario Teachers Pension Plan Board. I'm really excited about it. They're one of the largest public market investors in the world. They have a group called Teachers Innovation Platform that invests in these late stage venture capital and growth equity companies like SpaceX, Tanium, so on. And I think they'll be a great long-term partner for us, as great investment for us. I think we're investing this right back into the team and into the product. And we've got a bunch of projects that I'm excited about kicking off, and allows us to think a little further out. We're rebuilding our editor. We're opening up our platform to allow anybody to build these integrations.
Nice.
We're putting a lot of work into helping teams codify their rituals, and we're hiring really fast.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shishir Mehrotra. I appreciate your time. Coda looks pretty good, and I guess it's only getting better.